I'm here with Madhav Thattai. He is the GM of Agentforce at Salesforce. He just did an amazing presentation about the future of where things are headed for Salesforce. We got to play around and test and build some agents, which was incredible, so thank you for that. But one of the things that really stuck with me is you said every enterprise is going to become an agentic enterprise. What does that mean?
Yeah, look, I think when we first saw generative technology come out, I think there was a few things that we immediately concluded. There were going to be like incredible new experiences that were going to be created when you can interact with technology in such a natural way. And when you think about how businesses are run, businesses want to create those incredible experiences for their customers. And so that is a huge motivating factor, I think, for any company in the world. But the second thing that was unlocked was how we deploy technology is now completely different. And so when you think about the democratization of that, now I can create incredible experiences and I can do amazing things for my employees. I can do incredible things for my customers. And so the motivation, I think, for every company in every industry around the world is, well, leveraging this technology is going to allow us to reach customers in ways we've never reached them before. It's going to give them experiences that are personal to a degree that's never happened before. And finally, I think the dream of we can now tie together our entire end-to-end experience for a customer, I think can be realized with this technology. And I think people see that. We're certainly seeing it in the consumer side. I mean, incredible usage of these products. We're seeing it in coding. We're seeing it in how engineering teams are accelerating. And I think over time, we're going to see that in every aspect of every business. And so we believe that the way organizations think of themselves in the future will be humans and agents working together to create these incredible experiences. That's what we think about when we say agentic enterprise.
I love it. So you also shared a slide, which was the enterprise tech stack. How should developers, enterprise architects be thinking about what their tech stack looks like in an age of agentic AI?
Yeah, we have a pretty strong point of view about this. When you think about an enterprise architecture for agents, we think customers have to make decisions at 4 levels, and we think of them as 4 systems, basically. So number 1 is a system of context, and everybody knows the data layer and the context layer is what's going to make an agent magical. You want to be grounded in the data that's relevant to you, to your business, to your customers. So the context layer is incredibly critical and foundational. The second layer that I think is a little misunderstood in the industry is what we think of as the system of work. And this is where work actually happens and is executed at a company, right? How do I run my sales team? How do I run my customer service? How do I think about marketing that's driving my pipeline? This is not just data. This is process. This is workflow. This is effectively kind of an encoded understanding of how businesses function. And that's something that at Salesforce, we have institutionalized in our applications for a very long time, right? People use our applications to put in important data, but they also use our applications to actually run their business. And so that workflow layer is really important. So you've got the system of context, the system of work. And then what we're building now is a system of agency. And the system of agency allows you to build, test, deploy all of these agents that are leveraging all of this context and workflow in a way that creates an orchestrated lifecycle and experience across your company. So that system of agency is really important. And then the fourth one, which is really critical, is where do we experience the agents?
Yeah.
What's the engagement layer on which, my company runs on Slack? I'm going to use these agents in Slack. I use products like sales or service from Salesforce. I'm going to use these agents there. I'm a customer and I interact with a business on a website or an application. These are the engagement layers that create the experience. So system of engagement, the system of agency, the system of work, and the system of context. We think every developer, every CIO, every business has to make some key decisions about the architectural choices that they need to pull together. And really, any agentic experience is going to involve all those 4 layers. Question is, what is the right architectural choice? How do you think about what are the trade-offs you want to make in order to actually implement those things?
Amazing. So what excites you most about the future of AI when we're thinking about where it's headed? We could even talk about 3 months. We're working on like 3-month cycles now.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Right. What are you most excited about the future of AI?
Yeah, I think for me, and this has been our goal from the start, and I continue to be so inspired by this, is I really believe that this technology is going to democratize the ability for people to create and develop technology. We've seen it in the last, couple of months, obviously with Claude Code and Claude Cowork and, new tools, new ways in which people can start to develop these capabilities. And what does that do? I think it brings more people into the tent. It allows more people to create. It allows more people to actually use this technology to build things that they couldn't build before. And when you start to add all that up, there's a lot of fear out there about what the implications are and some very serious questions that we should be answering about this technology. But what I believe is giving people democratized access to things is going to allow them to do things that they couldn't do before. It's going to allow projects that companies couldn't fund because they couldn't afford them to be able to fund those things and try new things. And it's going to allow businesses to be created that previously would have been not viable to create. Well, now you can create them because you're using this technology. technology. And so I just think you're going to see productivity and incredible explosion of creativity that this technology has enabled. And having more people in that tent, I think, is powerful. I think that's really great. It's very inspiring.
Yes, I'm so happy that I don't have to go through the coding classes again and can just sit and ask. Right now, like, your only limit is your imagination. I think that's a great place to be.
Absolutely right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I
appreciate your
appreciate
time.
it. Thank you.